One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing the new off-Broadway play Sumo, written by Alyssa, Sanaye, Dring, directed by Ralph B. Pena, a co-production of Mayi Theater Company and La Jolla Playhouse, running through March 30th at the Anspacher Theater at the Public Theater at 425 Lafayette Street in New York, New York. You know, I think you'd be a perfect match for my Patreon page where you can, for as little as $1 a month, support my work here as well as my classic cinema podcast, Yesterday's Matinee. The latest episode on the 1944 Jerome Kern and Ira Gershwin musical Covergirl is currently available for patrons only. There are additional features on the page as well, so go check it out when you have the chance. Thank you to my current patrons, especially my Neo and Hamilton tier patrons, and welcome to the new ones. A link will be in the description. Who would have thought the world, particularly Americans, and more specifically New York theater, wanted a play about sumo wrestling? But here we are with one of the most unique theater experiences I've had in a few years. The story itself may be a bit derivative, but the setting and culture is one that most of us will never come close to having remote experience in person, offering a mesmerizing world of tradition, pride, humility, and hubris. The story follows Akio, played by Scott Keiji Takeda, a young man who has recently joined a sumo stable in Japan. Ambitious and lacking in discipline and patience, he eagerly attempts to leave behind his initial duties of keeping the place clean and observing the behaviors and traditions of the other sumo wrestlers present that are all higher in rank than he. The other men attempt to offer him advice to successfully move him up the ranks, but his eyes are on Mitsuo, played by David Shi, who is one rank away from becoming a yokozuna, the highest rank one can become in sumo. Under Mitsuo's brutal tutelage, Akio begins to embrace Mitsuo's arrogance and disdain for the other wrestlers, even though Akio hasn't really merited the respect of rank that the other sumo wrestlers have earned through time and diligence. As I said, it's all fairly derivative. We've seen stories like this before where upstart talents think they're better than everyone else or are a bit too eager to progress in their skills before learning the necessary foundational aspects of what they're attempting to accomplish, and for a time prove their worth before needing to learn a greater lesson. But the unique environment of sumo wrestling offers a different atmosphere that is brutal, immersed in faith and tradition, and yet intimate. Most of the men are men of faith and sensitivity, emoting reverence to the two gods who created sumo wrestling, Takamikazushi and Takaminakata. When observing sumo through these characters' eyes, Fumio, played by Red Concepcion, So, played by Michael Hisamoto, Ren, played by Ahmad Kamal, and Shinta, played by Earl T. Kim, we feel the reverence and respect they have for the sport and for each other. The actors all evoke that feeling of sensitivity, doing what they love as long as their bodies can hold out to the beating that they take in training and competition. This goes beyond just love for the sport, but intimate attraction between each other as well, as two wrestlers must keep their feelings for each other secret. The matches are a bit tepid, but of course they are. The actors have to slap and throw each other around the ring 8 times a week in only omawashi. If they did this for real, the show wouldn't last long, as injuries would plague the production. So there's a level of suspension of disbelief that has to be taken with the actual wrestling narrative, especially at the end of the show when certain matchups start to happen that have results that don't necessarily feel believable, but are required for its intended resolution. Sumo consultant James Yaegashi, along with co-fight director Chelsea Pace, keep the action strong though, as they use the wrestling scenes to advance the story, which is more important anyway. So I'll take the hit on realism for application of narrative any time. There are some excellent visuals presented through Wilson Chin's scenic design, with Hana S. Kim's projection design and Paul Whitaker's lighting design. Striking images of the two aforementioned gods, mystical sequences of color, and ethereal tones mixed with Fabian Obispo's sound elevate the more dramatic moments. The cast is great. I saw David Shi last season at Yale Rep in their production of The Far Country, and we gave him an award for his efforts. He shines again here as the arrogant and provocative Mitsuo. Ahmad Kamal is also fantastic as Ren, who, despite his differences with Mitsuo's methods, holds the utmost respect for his sport, looking to keep moving up in the ranks. It's a sensitive performance, colored with passion, drive, and fortitude. The same is true for Earl T. Kim as Shinta, who is starting to wane in his talents and may need to look for something new soon, as his body is no longer holding up. Scott Keiji Takeda gives a solid performance as Akio. His early moments come off a bit one-dimensional at times, but as the play develops, he taps into the deeper feelings of his character, giving the journey an earned conclusion. Sumo is a striking play. Yes, we've seen this story before, but never with this unique backdrop. It gives a refreshing newness to it. The design is powerful, and the cast is mostly excellent. Kudos to them for bearing more of their bodies than most actors ever do on stage. If you've ever been interested or remotely curious about sumo wrestling, or just want an inspirational story of finding humanity in a brutal sport, then sumo is worth checking out. But I'm only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you want to see sumo, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Also in the description will be links to my Patreon and Spotify pages, as well as my social media pages where you can support my work. You can also support me by liking and sharing this video, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be the off-Broadway revival of Henrik Ibsen's Ghosts. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.